Another week of vaccine chaos and COVID dread. Only this time it's Easter week, so at least there's chocolate animals. So many questions. Why didn't Megacan get inoculated after all? Is German society ready to accept Syrian refugees in the Bundestag? And is Horst Seehofer ready to grow up? It's Johnnie Walker Red all round. Drink up!
Hello! Happy Easter, everybody. It's Good Friday. That means that Jesus is dead.
Not yet.
He's 100% dead. It's past 3 p.m. on Good Friday. He is in the cave.
They were efficient, the Romans, when they were doing a crucifixion. Got it
Fucking
done
get them
by...
onto the vaccine program. Hello, everyone. It's time for another episode of Megan's Megacan. I'm Megan. I'm here with Ex-Berliner Magazine and the lovely Konrad Werner. Hi, Konrad.
Hello.
I always call you lovely, like I'm some creepy game show host in the 90s, I've just realised. I'm so sorry. I mean, lovely in your, I don't know.
I'm like a magician's assistant.
Exactly.
Which is often how I think of myself.
Well, good. How's your day been? It's Good Friday, so...
Yeah, it's fine.
Have you had
Let's
good
make it
Friday?
a great Friday.
Hey, I like that you did the finger guns there. That was really good. I tried to do a Good Friday activity. I was telling you earlier, I've spent 4 hours today making inedible hot cross buns. And then all I want in life, because I haven't been home for so long, is a Marks and Spencer's.
Oh.
If I told you that I subscribe to like their emails, and I'm going to have to stop, because every time I read an email, I'm like, that's it. I'm moving home. This town is a joke.
What's your favourite Marks and Spencer's delicacy?
Oh, Jesus. There's too many, but their hot cross buns are really good.
Yeah.
And like my granny was a big fan of hot cross buns. She always had Marks and Spencer's hot cross buns from about the moment the last of the mince pies were eaten. It was like hot cross buns instead of toast in the morning. And if anyone has got a hot cross bun, may I suggest that you toast it and then put butter and then marmalade and then bacon on it and eat that, and it will change your life. That's what I was hoping I was going to be doing tomorrow morning.
But instead you'll be rebaking the ones that you...
I'll be watching things not rise.
Well, you could be going to the canal and feeding them to the ducks, the ones that you made.
I genuinely don't think you could, because I'd be afraid that finally they would rise and actually prove and explode ducks.
Okay,
and there's one thing Berliners don't need is they're trying to get some morsel of sunshine. This another lockdown holiday is like ducks to just be like dying around them.
Yeah, that would be awful.
It'd be terrible.
Yeah, no, I got tested this week.
Ooh.
I got my free test. I'm allowed one free test a week, aren't I?
Yeah, as a citizen of Germany.
So that was nice. No, it wasn't, actually, because I just had my breakfast, and then if someone sticks something down your throat...
You had a throat one?
I had the works. I had one up the nose and one in the throat.
Oh, that's good. So it was a PCR, was it?
No, it was antigen Schnell
and
test.
Up the nose and the throat?
Yeah.
Ooh,
and I got the email 15 minutes later.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we have
so
some
that works.
alcohol?
Yeah, go on, yeah. Well, I've been holding you up.
I've got some potentially exciting Megacans, but only if I've correctly remembered what you once told me was your favourite whiskey.
Okay.
Can you remember what you might have said that was?
Well, when it comes to Megacan whiskey, there's not that many options, are there? There's Jim Beam, Johnnie Walker, Jack Daniels.
But we usually have Johnnie Walker normal.
Oh, this is special Johnnie Walker.
It's Johnnie Walker Red label.
Great.
Yeah, there you go.
They start with red, with the red label. It'll be very nice. Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's Scotchy.
Scotchy.
It's just
lovely.
Good,
Feel much better already.
Because fuck me. What an absolute shit show this week has been for German politics.
Yeah. So,
and that's a phrase I feel I could apply a lot of weeks, but this one's really...
Well, especially for you, because regular listeners will probably remember...
I was so excited. Megan was so excited.
Megan was going to get vaccinated by this time, and it hasn't happened. Why hasn't it happened, Megan?
Because despite only recently approving it for under 65s after a very sort of controversial thing where they didn't allow it in Germany for over 65s, and then they did, Germany this week then decided to halt vaccinations with AstraZeneca for the under 60s this time, which affected me and loads of other people who had just got the kind of vaccine call up, a lot of whom, of course, are teachers.
Yeah.
And
having just been bumped up the queue.
Specifically secondary school teachers. So primary school and special school teachers still remain in priority group 2.
Okay.
So in typical Berlin fashion, this has been like an absolute shit show. So yeah, we all get this announcement on Tuesday, I think it was, that they weren't doing it with anything. And then there's this huge kind of thing with all my teacher friends, and we're like, oh shit, what do we do? And we were calling the Corona hotline, and then a lot of us were getting new appointments. And then everyone that we spoke to, they had no idea either. And I had this like quite funny conversation with the woman in the IMF hotline thing. She was just like, I don't know what's happening. We've just got this information 30 minutes ago. And I was like, yeah, as a teacher, I totally understand that position. They've just said this thing and it's gone out into like the Tagesspiegel and onto Twitter.
Yeah.
Half time not even onto Twitter. It just goes to the Tagesspiegel because they haven't released anything formal on Senatsverwaltung Twitter threads or Twitter pages. Nothing official. They just kind of announce it from the big meetings they've been having. Right. These are what we've just decided. More information to follow.
Okay.
And we're all like, okay, shit, what do we do? What do we do? So we had this few days, and like some people were then getting the next appointments were at the end of May. So people then theoretically have booked appointments for the end of May for Moderna or BioNTech, Pfizer. Then I was like, right, I'm just going to wait and I'm going to see what's going to happen and see what they're going to say about AstraZeneca and then try and change my appointment when it gets close to the time. Then at like 10 p.m. after this official press release, which I'll talk about in a second, comes out from the Senatsverwaltung für Bildung, the Ministry of Education in Berlin. After that goes out, we have informed everybody they will be cancelled. And we're like, I haven't got a cancellation. I just got a text message reminding me of my appointment on Friday.
Yeah.
Then after 10 o'clock on Wednesday night, I got an email and a text saying that my appointment had been cancelled and that I could book a new one. Okay. So I call up on Thursday morning. Quite a few of my colleagues, by the way, they've already got new appointments. A few of us had kind of waited. I call up on the Thursday morning and get told, no, we can no longer book you. If you are in that group of people who took AstraZeneca, we can't change your appointment. We can't change you for Moderna or BioNTech Pfizer.
Why not?
They don't have enough. So obviously, from a personal perspective, this has been devastating. I've been very, very, very upset. And I also understand that a lot of people are not going to be vaccinated for much longer than me. But there is sort of, I think, something about, there's two reasons. We were given it and we were so excited, and then it's been taken away. And that's almost worse than never have been giving it in the first place. I know. Just from a sort of like human psychology point of view.
Oh, yeah. As the pop group James once sang a famous line.
I'm really happy that you're telling this.
From the old indie music from the early 90s.
I know, James. Oh, sit down.
And a line from that song is, if I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor.
That is a good one. Yeah. So to quote James, I was happy knowing that it was coming at some point, but then I was so excited. I told my family 10:45 Friday morning, and then it's taken away. So I think we're all very upset from a human perspective. The other reason we're upset is that the numbers are crazy. Schools are not safe. We know what the infection rates are being modelled as in schools, and they're way higher than hairdressers and all of this stuff. And I understand like hairdressers and things have not been vaccinated either, but it's just very difficult in schools. And as our kids get like more into this and more frustrated, and they want to sit close to their friends, and they want to not have masks on all the time, and certainly not FFP2 masks on all the time, which are really uncomfortable. It's hard. And the third reason we're pissed off is, of course, it's just been handled so incredibly poorly. It's like extra insulting. It's not just because, first of all, it's been a little bit controversial, and the Tagesspiegel were reporting about it. Basically, the police last week stopped letting colleagues get vaccinated for AstraZeneca. And there has been quite a lot of conflicting information, basically, from the various powers that be about AstraZeneca. Even when the police had stopped, there was a lot of pressure being put on school leadership to really encourage their secondary school. And this is only relevant for secondary school. AstraZeneca is the only one that they're going to get. And if they do not take it up, then they're going to be pushed back into priority group 3. Even when the police had already done this. And then there was kind of this thing in a video conference with Schulleitung that happened recently. Like somebody from the Charité was like, all 3 vaccination Impfstoffe are super. The only problem that AstraZeneca has is bad press. But then there's also obviously been this whole conversation in the background going on concurrently with this that has led up to the banning of AstraZeneca. Like that wasn't just decided one day.
So it's not actually a ban, is it? What is the...
Sorry, not a ban, a suspension for under 60s.
It's a recommendation from the Ständige Impfkommission, which STIKO, which is the German vaccination commission. And they changed their recommendations to say that only over 60 should be used on. It has already been given to 2.8 million people, I believe, or 2.8 million doses have already been injected into people. And there have been 31 cases of blood clots, some of which have been fatal. And most of them are women under the age of 55, I think. Yeah.
And look, that is definitely above my pay grade, whether people should be doing this. I would still take it in the eyeball tomorrow, administered by one of the lads shooting up at Schönleinstrasse. Happy to do that. I'm sure they're actually very good with the needles. I don't know why I would...
I believe Markus Söder also said that people should just take it if they want it. It's voluntary anyway, but they said you should be informed about the risk and then you should be allowed to take it.
Sort of what I think, but just to get back to this communication that's come out around it from the Senate, the education authorities. Initially, they were told, the Schulleitung were told, there's free choice. And then they took that back and were like, no, it has to be AstraZeneca or everyone in the secondary is going down, all the secondary school teachers are going down to group 3. And I can understand, and I would still take it. That would be my choice. But I just think it's very strange for everybody in Germany getting free choice of the vaccine. And that's kind of been one of the things that they've been saying. Apart from secondary school teachers. Oh, and by the way, we're all back, all grades, in Wechselunterricht from the 12th of April. That is very, very odd to me, and I don't understand. And now, particularly if you kind of knew that it was controversial, then there have been several tone-deaf responses. Something that came out on Wednesday from them, which basically said, we're asking all secondary school teachers, in the interest of fairness to terminally ill or like severely ill people, please don't book up the other things because they are limited. And I totally get that. I don't want to take an appointment as a healthy person away from someone who's sick, but it's like, it was your fuck up. And then we've had another thing. We've heard nothing from Scheres, by the way, not a peep.
The education minister.
Yes, for Berlin.
Your bête noire.
My nemesis. But she has said nothing, but there was then a letter that came out from them today to all staff, teachers, and they've said some choice things like, we're really, really, really sorry, and we really ask for your understanding. Please don't book these appointments. You will be kontrolliert when you go into the centres, which is just weird and it's not nice. So if you try and go and get the one which you were allowed to book, perfectly understandably. And the other thing is, there've been so little official communication about this that if I had not been on basically social media, because I got the news through WhatsApp, people sharing like Tagesspiegel stuff, I also checked the Tagesspiegel log, but if I hadn't been doing that and I hadn't been on like Twitter and stuff, I literally wouldn't have known why that appointment was cancelled when I got that message.
Yeah,
so,
it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? In the meantime...
Fucking bullshit.
In the meantime, the president of Germany has become the first...
Steinmeier? No, I'm trying to say...
Like, you're getting there, you're getting
Platz there. Is on the Walter Schreiberplatz. That's a U9 station. Also, presumably somebody as well.
Frank-Walter Steinmeier. He's become the first major politician in Germany to be given the vaccine in public with a camera taking a picture. And,
did he go like taps off? some of there was like a little thing about like French politicians getting it recently, and they were all like pretty hot and took their tops off?
No, he did not. He just bared his upper arm.
Okay.
And so that was a big deal. But other politicians not so ready to be injected in public. Merkel has not yet been injected in public with it.
It's time for Merky to take some Ezzy right in the arm.
And and at a recent cabinet meeting, Jens Spahn, the health minister, asked all of his over 60s colleagues. Jens Spahn is 40 for the record.
All of them, because it's like...
And he said all the members of the cabinet who might be over 60 and therefore eligible to take a safe AstraZeneca to do it in public, just to build up public trust and everything. And they all said yes, and also the state premiers as well. And they all said yes, except for our old friend. Guess who?
It's Horst, isn't it?
Horst Seehofer.
Horst Seehofer, who?
The Interior Minister, who is 71.
Another
He's the
one
oldest.
of my bête noirs. This whole podcast started because of him, really. It was an exciting time for German politics.
And he gave an interview to the largest German newspaper, which is the Bild-Zeitung.
Your bête noir.
Yeah, my bête noir. And he said, the answer to Jens Spahn's demand is no. I will not let myself be patronised in this way. And he just refused to take the AstraZeneca vaccine, and he told the Bild about it. Just extremely childish.
The reason people... so we started this podcast at a very exciting time when Horst Seehofer nearly brought the collapse of the government down because he threw all of his toys out of the pram and threatened to, I don't know, stage some kind of fucking coup because Angie wouldn't... I can't even remember what it was about, but he was just ridiculous, having all these petulant... flouncing around and having a press conference and everything.
Well, I thought, because I thought at the time that he was doing all that because he was angling to use positioning. It was all like power plays, trying to get into himself.
I think if anything, this is
becoming a chancellor kind of candidate, and usurping Merkel. And I think that was what he was doing. That was like 5 years ago. But now he's got nothing at stake, really. I mean, he's already no longer the Bavarian state premier. He's no longer the leader of the CSU. He could just chill out a bit and carry on, But
so
anyway.
This is actually just him. This is not a political power play. He's just being a petulant child. I will not be patronised. It's because you're patronising yourself, Horst, because you behave like a baby. And instead of just saying professionally to your colleague, Jensi, I understand, not for me. And I will say professionally to the German public, you know what? I respect everyone's decision to make their own vaccine choices. I've made mine.
I mean, it's really bad.
Fucking whine and flounce around, and it's bad.
It's bad because I really think that loads of people, like Germany, is also already. Apparently, there's been some survey about it somewhere. Don't check this, but there's some survey saying that Germany's
what percentage
has the biggest percentage of anti-vaxxers.
Yeah. I don't even think. I think anti-vax is the wrong. Skeptics. It's a skeptic thing, definitely.
And if someone like that in that kind of position, it says he won't take a vaccine, that means loads of people will feel very justified in not taking a vaccine and not taking any vaccine. I think it is really irresponsible for him to say that. Irresponsible.
It's so weird, this vaccine thing, more than anything I've ever seen, more than the coronavirus thing itself. It's really been this vaccine. It has shown all of the weird ways in which German society is odd. And I don't think anyone can quite believe it. But in the first one, you had all these ventilators. You were bringing people and putting them on respirators and doing this. And you have this sexy virologist. I don't think the outside world were saying that. That was just me. But and there was all of this, and then now they're like, what's going on with your vaccines? Like, first of all, why did you not order any? That's one problem. Why can no one get them? Oh, it's because our health stars. I saw a tweet today. Someone had been called up for a vaccine and they don't know why. And because of Datenschutz, that information cannot be released. It's madness. It's absolute madness. So there's the Datenschutz thing. There's the weird way in which our health system chugs along but cannot cope with anything new. And then there's this weird skepticism around vaccines that no one's taking it. And everyone's like, but Germans are sensible people. I'm like, no. Sensible in many ways, but also, like every other nation, strange and idiosyncratic in their own ways.
They have the little foibles.
Little foibles. It's just unfortunately these foibles are literally killing hundreds of people a day.
Yeah. Meanwhile, a few weeks ago we had like a loosening plan.
Oh, Jesus wept. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We'll be in beer gardens by Easter. Will we? Fuck.
So now new rules have been brought in.
Yep.
What are the new rules, Megan?
Right.
You know these really well.
I do. I was saying to you, I kind of hope that I get this right.
This is just for Berlin, right?
This is just for Berlin, I'm afraid, because I just can't. I can't. If anyone's listening not in Berlin, I just imagine you're here. It's shite. Yeah, because all my friends were coming to yesterday about the new rules, or like getting onto social media, like what's happening at around lunchtime. And I was up early for a plumber. So I'd consumed 6 hours of Tagesspiegel and German Twitter by that time. So I was like, right, these are... So basically, over Easter, there are stricter rules in place than usual for outside. So you are still allowed to meet up to 5 people from 2 different households, but not in open spaces. So not in public between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m.
Okay.
between now and Tuesday. And I
You
think
can
that is
walk around on your own.
yes,
after
or
9.
with one other person
Right.
after 9 p.m.
So it's not actually a curfew, but sort of half curfew.
It's a half curfew. What I think it is to avoid what I saw today in the park, even though it was quite cold and very windy, to be honest. If any virus can survive that wind, it deserves to take us all.
Yeah.
That's a good mega.
Yeah.
You enjoying it?
I've nearly finished it.
Jesus wept, man. We've loads of terrible, horrible news to get through. Anyway, so same kind of contact, but apart from after 9 o'clock, and that is outside only in public spaces. And I think what that is to avoid scenes like I saw today, which were big groups of people collecting in parks, which is kind of okay. And it is outside, and that's a bit more responsible. But I think the police don't want to be dealing with drunk people after 9 o'clock in big groups.
Right.
So then on Tuesday, it gets a little bit stricter. And what happens is we go back to the rules where it's 1 household plus maximum 1 other person. And then as of 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. again, no contact with anybody outside your household.
And you're not allowed to have any visitors. You can't have someone stay in.
Yeah, just within your own household. There are exceptions, I think, made for people sharing childcare and for Lebenspartner and Ehepartner, so spouses and life partners, which I think is really shitty and couples privileging. And I would have thought better of the Berlin Regierung. But why? I have no fucking idea. Actually, usually they're pretty cool on shit like that. They were quite cool about Christmas. Anyway, so that is also, all the things.
What about childcare? Childcare is a big thing now because they reduced the number of people who are allowed to have kindergarten places.
Yeah, unfortunately, kindergartens go back into Notbetreuung as of Thursday.
So only essential workers and single-parent households qualify for childcare. Yeah. That's quite a big thing, isn't it? That means all these kids are going to have to be at home.
Yep.
All right.
Because the thing is, even with, I'm sure there were lots and lots of kindergarten and primary school staff booked in for AstraZeneca. And even though they're allowed to rebook, those appointments are not coming up for weeks. So I really am hoping that April is going to be, I've sort of been saying this for a little while, it's going to be Germany's vaccination month. We're going to get fucking loads of them in. Doctors are allowed to start doing it as of Tuesday. But I don't think with AstraZeneca. You can still, if you're under 60, by the way, go and talk to an impfenden Arzt, a vaccinating doctor.
Who's a vaccinating doctor?
Well, exactly. But some people, I do know somebody who got an email from their doctor the other day saying we are offering appointments, but you still have to be in the priority groups, basically. So if you are in a priority group, you could potentially go and talk to your doctor or find a doctor who would have a conversation with you. And if you both agree that AstraZeneca is the good choice, then you can still do it. I am with Markus Söder, she says, I was with him whenever he was for harder lockdown. I remember that for the second time and hopefully the last time in my life. Actually, no, I would like him to agree with me more often. That would be good. I think it should be patient choice. I think anything where they put it onto a doctor as well the doctors are going to be super cautious, because I think I know that I could go and talk to doctors, but they're going to say, no, you're a woman under 55 and you're on the pill, so you're at a much higher risk or you're on a theoretically higher risk of thrombosis anyway. So I don't think I would get it, even though I just really want it. Just give me it.
Okay.
So those are the new rules. Also, FFP2s everywhere, everybody knows, and you can't go shopping. But we covered this last week, did we? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did. You have to have had a test
the same day.
On the same day to go to the hairdresser, stuff like that. Right. Other news, racism news.
Oh fuck no.
Tarek Alavs.
Yeah, God, I saw this.
First ever candidate who was a Syrian refugee. He was going to be a Green Party candidate for the general election this September. And it was a big thing a few weeks ago when he announced his candidacy. It was like he came to Germany 6 years ago, learnt German and everything. And
which is fucking hard.
And he was going to...
Well done, Tarek.
And he was going to... Yeah, he was going to be
that sounds patronising. I 100% did not mean that. I'm as someone who is not... who's in the same journey. Fucking hell. I don't speak.
He has withdrawn his candidacy this week because of all the racist death threats he and his family got as a result of it, which was obviously a huge shame. It was like a shame on Germany.
That is...
And the German society
that is
for this.
Appalling. That is...
A lot of politicians and a lot of people on Twitter there was a hashtag solidarity with Tarek.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that came out in support of him and said this is unacceptable. We've got to get better. We've got to improve. But racist hate is what it is, and it still exists, and it's still part of our lives and our society, and it affects everyone. So.
And the thing is, this is like. Oh God, that was just so depressing.
It's depressing as well because he specifically said, I will be a voice in the Bundestag, in the German parliament for people like me, like refugees from Syria who have been here.
Which is a huge part of...
Yeah, and it's really something missing in the Bundestag. Like there was like something that it was they did need to be represented in the Bundestag because they are quite, they are part of society here, and they weren't.
Yeah.
And there are so
I think
few
anyone
people,
who learns German enough to do anything should get a seat in the Bundestag. They make you conjugate nouns. I only learned that recently.
You did a test. What was
did. Well, I'm really hoping, because it's from the Senat, I'm hoping that is going to be the one gift that the Senat gives me. But anyway, we were talking about...
Well, I was just going to mention that there are very few Bundestag members of colour.
Yeah.
There's Karamba Diaby, who was I forgot which African country he's from, but he represents Halle for the SPD, and he's basically it. I mean, he's like, there's a few people of Turkish origin, but that's really it. Of the 700 and something Bundestag members, there's very few that represent a diverse society, and I mean, it's very sad. I think it's sad.
It's really sad, and it is, like you said, like a complete damning.
Yeah, it feels like we failed,
Yeah, we have absolutely failed, and I hope that there is enough outcry about this. But and everyone can say that this is just kind of like random people being racist, and it's not the system because he was able to thing. But we talk a lot on this podcast about like how the police are fucking shit at investigating any of this. And all of this kind of stuff that happens online and all of these things. Like, of course, if in a country that is failing so miserably to deal with far-right hate crimes, why would you, if you're getting threats on your family from these people, like, why would you feel supported in going ahead with your decision?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's really sad. I'm really sad. I hope that's not like the last that we hear of him, but it's obviously not Tarek Alav's job to deal with that. That's like white Germany's job. Please don't tell me there's more racist news.
Well, there was a bit of a blackface scandal today on Bavarian TV.
That is 2 blackface scandals this year, I think.
A Bavarian public TV show did put someone on in a comedy sketch. A very unfunny comedy sketch.
I'm shocked. A Bavarian state television comedy sketch turned out to be unfunny.
And racist.
Shocking.
So there's that. That happened. And,
have you watched it?
No, I haven't watched it because it's just I can't kind of bring myself to watch Bavarian comedy.
Be awful. Don't.
It's never really like comedy in a sense that you would recognize. It's more just like weird situations being acted in a weird way. And
Plus
you
blackface, which is fucking appalling.
You just feel baffled rather than you're not sure whether it's supposed to be funny or not. You just feel sort of baffled by these strange people doing stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. There are quite a few kind of cool things happening in German television, I think, basically from Germans of colour. I'm going to share some on Twitter with people.
Are there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot less annoying, I've discovered,
what?
Not having to watch, like, white Germans speak German.
Say one of them.
There's one particular one, which is like a chat show about... I follow some people because they have a podcast called Hart Unfair, which is a play on... some kind of, I think, German state thing that has like a show called...
Oh, Hart aber fair.
Genau.
Yeah.
So there's this like Hart Unfair. And it's a podcast and it's really brilliant. And I follow them all like a creep on Twitter and Instagram. And Yelda Turkman is involved with that, and also with a show that's just launched on one of the German channels, and it might be a state channel, I'm not sure, but it's called Five Souls, and it's basically like cool people talking about relationships.
Okay.
Auf Deutsch. Good Deutsch practice.
We'll put that in the show notes.
We say that. We don't know what show notes are. We don't know what
Well, we don't have a website, so we can do. All I can do is put it in the comments on Facebook.
Maybe we need a website.
Yeah. Well, if any enterprising web developers are out there.
I made a Google Sites website with my year 8s, so that's fine. Okay. Good. So racism, coronavirus. God, that's really depressing. We need to have more diverse voices in the Bundestag, and we need to not be cunts to them. Anyway, good Megacan?
Yeah, I finished it ages ago. It was great. Thanks very much.
5 stars for Johnnie Walker Red label. Okay, everybody. Whatever you're celebrating this weekend, or if you're celebrating nothing, I hope you have schöne Feiertage. Remember the rules. Get your wee Schnell tests. I've bought loads. I'm Schnell testing everyone who comes into my house. Not quite, but...
That's it.
Okay. Happy holiday time,
Happy holidays.
Everybody. Have a lot of chocolate.
Yeah.
I can really recommend the Lidl own brand Easter chocolates. Favorina. Go for it.
Favorina.
They're fucking delicious.
Okay.
I've bought a million. I always like to have a big bowl of chocolate eggs at Easter. We always did like the small ones. Like you get your big Easter eggs, but my mum always had a big bowl of loads of chocolate eggs. And I've got this big gold bowl. I'm going to fill them with chocolate eggs.
Are you going to hide them?
I was thinking there's a little boy in my building. And I was thinking I could maybe talk. That's one of the things about Corona. And I know that this just sounds like such a cliche, but I have got to know my neighbours a little bit better. Mainly because I'm on the ground floor and everyone at Christmas was getting so many packages because I live with quite a few people that would have gone out of Berlin that aren't from Berlin, but were in Berlin because of Corona. And it was just ridiculous. I'd have 6 packages. And you get chatting to people. There's a little boy in my building, and I thought maybe we could do a little Easter egg hunt for him. But I don't know if he's there on Sunday or if he's with his dad.
Okay. Well,
sorry, that was a long story.
Maybe we'll find out next week what happened to that.
Oh, God, yeah. Okay.
For those who keep listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay safe, everybody. Thanks for the news, Conrad.
Thank you for the new rules.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.